Good morning, and what a lovely morning it is. And this is an opportunity to introduce to you Spooligan product number 10, Grippa. Now these are direct replacement cups for rod stands with the aluminium crossbar in. The design of these is designed to give a positive but gentle grip on your rod, so it's not going to knock off, blown off in the wind, be pulled up by an aggressive fish, strong tidal currents, or just clumsy idiots like myself who tend to trip over things a lot. As you can see, it grips hold of the rod with a bigger radius around, so that is firm, but when you're ready to pull the rod out, just a gentle little pop and out it comes. They can also be used in the reverse side, where people who, when they bait up, they rest their rod against the stand. It will sit in there and be able to hold the rod without it being knocked off or wind blowing it over while you're changing your trace or your bait up. Some people don't use double pat technique with two traces at once. They'll stand this rod up and do their bait up there and then. I mean, I've got my rods on an 8-foot stand with my reel seat down low, so it is gripping all of my rod on the butt section. These are T1000s, but some people like to have their butts placed on the floor or the ground, so it will go and support the rod even on the rod as it gets to a smaller diameter. Because of the shape of Grippa, it supports right the way around with just a small opening at the top, so even as the rod gets to a smaller diameter, it still offers more support than a standard cup would. As you can see, the rod sat nicely in the Grippa there. I'm a fixed spool user, so my eyes sit below. And if I just pop the rod out, you can see the line will go inside the Grippa, if you so wish, because there are recesses that stop the line getting trapped between the rod and the Grippa. So even if you're a multiplier user and you have your rod set to an angle at a side, or like myself, you're a fixed spool user, you can have the line sat inside there, so when you lift the rod, you're not getting this scenario where the line goes underneath the stand and then it gets stuck underneath your head of your tripod. So with Grippa, line goes in, and then that line is now free to move. So if I pull my line now, and you look at my tip, that's moving freely through there. The Grippas are sold as a pair, so you can buy the two, but we also offer a single, because I know some people do like to fish a third cup depending on the tidal pull, which direction, or if they're fishing a third rod, that sort of thing. As you can see on Carl's rod there, he's got 3 Grippas on his, 4 occasionally if he's using a scratching rod or a rod that sits out there with a large bait for a longer period of time. It just sits in the middle slot there on his stand. Okay, so you can see this rod here sat nicely in my stand in the Grippa. That rod is out fishing. So as I mentioned, in the typical Spooligan way, we like to add functionality to our products, not just for its core purpose, but for other things. So if I pan you around now, this side, you can see I've now brought in that second rod, and you can see the Grippa doing its other purpose. So that is now leaning up against the opposite side of the stand that is towards the sea. So this rod is now facing back towards the shore. So for those guys who do bait ups with their rod stood up against the stand, that is now secure, but only gently popped in. So there, clicked in. So while you're doing your bait up, that rod is not going to fall over in the wind.